Episode of 618 podcast. I'm your host, Tattoo Tom. Today's special guests, we have two special guests here. We have an OG from Salem, who, man, I've been hearing your name for a long time, and I don't even know you hardly. I just know that people are just talking about D.O.G. So this, ladies and gentlemen, this is D.O.G, and he's from Salem?
Well, I'm not from here, but
okay.
Been living here over 30-some years, though. So.
Yeah.
And we got Matt Helm from the owner of 618 Inc. My boss.
Hell yeah, what's up?
All right, we're going to start off with just kind of telling us a little bit about yourself. Like, how'd you get started tattooing? Like, who you are, where you come from, and then how you kind of got hooked up with tattooing.
Okay, well, that's a long story.
Yeah. Take your time, man.
I don't know. I got my first tattoo back in like 72, I think it was. And after I got it, I thought I could do a better job. So that's where I started my journey.
Nice.
In 72?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, what was it like back then, man? What was you using? What were they using back then? Just basically quill machines and...
Oh, yeah. Well, and then you got your homemade jobbies.
Yeah.
Walking motors and stuff. And,
Is that how you started out?
Yeah.
Same here. What was one of your? How did you start out? Like, what got you into the whole tattooing experience?
Motorcycles.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it.
Yeah, hanging around with that crowd back in the day, I'm sure it was.
Well, yeah, it was,
phenomenal, needed part.
A lot different world back then than it is now. Yeah, lot different world.
Tell us a little bit about like some tattoo stories that you had. Like what you used. How'd you build your first tattoo machine? How did what kind of inks did you use? The whole little process back then.
Right. Well, first tattoo machine I made was a little electric motor. Had a button on it, like on the shirt, right on the end of the motor, glued on, and had a technical pen. I think it was an 08 tech pen for a tube, and a plastic spoon that was bent over. Had the motor taped to it, right? Yeah. And for a needle bar, we used a paper clip and thread and glue to hold the needle onto the paper clip. And back then, I had access to India ink, so that's what we used. Speedball was about the blackest. Pelican was, it all turned green. Yeah. Over time, pretty much,
Yeah, for sure.
But my first experience was stick and poke,
Yeah.
Like everybody,
That's brutal, man. It takes forever, and it's just like...
Well, that's how they started out here back in centuries ago,
That's true.
Came a long way since then.
A long way. Hell, it's come a long way since I got started into it,
Absolutely.
Hell, in the past, 20 years, it's like exploded.
Yeah.
A
lot has changed.
Technology, the equipment's better, the pigments are better, techniques are,
And it's it's crazy.
Yeah, everybody's getting tattoos nowadays.
Oh yeah.
We work on 3/4 of the public. Doesn't matter what your job is. It's starting to get a little more lax. Jobs starting to let people get inked up, and now even the cops can get full sleeves. So it's just.
I tattoo a lot of cops. I've tattooed quite a few cops. I've seen a lot of cops come in this place, and get tattooed, which is really cool because I remember like back in the day, as a kid in school, we were little terrors, and I went to an alternative school. It was for bad kids, and we were good until shit wasn't good, and then we started having a cop up in there. We ran into a couple cops because we were always trying them, and of course we never win, but we was always trying them, And this one dude came in, he was bald head named Frank Bennett, and the process too is a lot more better too. You know, all that hand stenciling and
Oh yeah,
that shit drove me crazy. Man.
Yeah.
Things that make you want to quit.
Yeah.
I get blue powder everywhere.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
You guys used to work in a shop together. You owned a shop and he worked with you, or
Yeah.
Right here in Salem, over here. Where was it at?
It was up here on the corner.
Yeah.
Where the old Bradshaw's used to be, right next to Iuka Bank.
Oh yeah. What was it called?
Ancient Custom.
Ancient Custom. Cool.
Started it in what, 09? I think it was 09.
Yeah, I think that's when we opened that up.
As
Yeah,
soon as I got
09.
out that last time.
Yeah.
Me, you, and Freak.
God rest that soul.
Indeed. But it was an amazing shop, man. We kicked it off right in Salem.
Yeah.
If I remember right, they didn't really want us in Salem midday.
No, they never wanted me in Salem.
We had to jump through all kinds of hoops to make it happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we made it happen.
We made it. We got noticed, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I literally when I moved here, people still say, you know Dog? I was like, well, I should know him by this point. You know what I'm saying? And but you're pretty famous for the bus.
Been around a while. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been around for a while. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
That's cool. Tell me about that. How did you get that? What was the process of that? Did you run into any kind of like legal issues, or did you just what was your whole process with that?
Oh, well, back in the day, it was, they didn't really have any laws other than it was illegal to tattoo anybody under the age of 21.
Mm-hmm.
So it was 21 for a while.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I told
Yeah.
people
My
that
first
for
start
years, and people are like, no, it's always been 18.
No, it was 21.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and they really didn't worry about, parental consent. That was all right, back in the day, but I didn't rarely ever do anything with parental consent, and that was 18, when I did.
Mm-hmm.
But then finally, I think it was 2001 when Illinois actually put it into law, and then they lowered the age to 18.
Yeah.
But they had some goofy ideas.
Yeah. So where'd you take that bus at? Did you take it around the states or something, or you just stay locally, or?
First bus, it didn't get too far away from home because it was a 1961 Chevy. And it was worn out. But it made a good shop, But and then the other bus, the big green bus, it got rolled around quite a bit. It was a good old bus. I wish I'd never sold it.
Yeah.
But I used to do hog rock with it,
That
and then
was wild.
yeah, and biker parties there yonder and stuff like that. Back then, I didn't need a permit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, there was not that many people slinging it back then,
Right.
But then, I got rid of the bus after one hog rock. We got down there and it was like 96 degrees down in the pit, and it took them an hour to figure out where they wanted me, and I was parked right where I should have been. And then I finally got electricity, got the air conditioner on, about had a stroke because I didn't have any help setting up. And that was when, after that year, when I decided to sell the bus.
Yeah.
But I wish I hadn't. I'd like to have another one, But I'm getting old. Just not the pup I used to be,
Shoot.
I got one and set up ready.
I know you do. Might have to talk about that.
Indeed.
Yeah, tell us about that one, man. Tell us about your bus real quick. Tell us about the one you got.
Well, we started the idea of it, me and Qualls, back in 2005, I think. We were just talking ideas of like how we can have ideas to make some money, and I was like, man, I've always thought about Dog's idea, the bus, just a rolling tattoo shop, being able to take it anywhere you can, get all the clients you can possibly get. As long as you're ready to work, you're going to work.
Yeah.
So one day we sitting there years later talking about it. I think this was 2015, 16. We were staying at my house coming in from California, And man, we sit there and had long conversations for many, many nights, and he was always trying to find his little hustle, kind of make some money, and he's like, I kept giving him shit about it, and he's like, well, if it's so easy, well, what would you do? And I'm like, you know what? The bus idea is a great idea. I was like, we do a lot of concerts. I was like, I know we can get into the GM over there at Pops and start tattooing some fucking rock bands.
Yeah.
And so I went and bought a bus and started building it and got it done. And 2 weeks later, as soon as it was finalized, had a license on it, ready to tattoo, COVID happened.
Yeah, I do remember
And
that.
then I thought that was my end, It was like, COVID's happening, they can't come in the shop, they're shutting us down. I was like, I'll take the bus to customers' houses and deep clean it in between each client. Approach the city and the fucking state about it. They didn't want no part of it. Said if I used it, they'd take our license. So it's been sitting. We've done a few different parties on it, events, but haven't used it to its full potential. But it's super cool.
Yeah, it is.
You gotta check it out sometime.
Yeah, I've been aiming to.
Yeah, the way the bus looks is kind of sort of militant. I remember right around COVID, we had people complaining because we had it out in front of the shop, and they were saying it was the Antifa bus.
Had the city cops call me and asked if I would move it because I had it parked up around the square.
Oh yeah,
because they had multiple calls because it was the Antifa bus. It was ridiculous.
Oh man, that's funny. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
We did that that 4th of July party.
Dude, that was intense.
That was crazy. Yeah, especially you guys. You and was that you and Phaedra?
Me and Anthony.
Anthony, that's right. You and Anthony that killed it that night with tattoos. Yeah.
12 hours solid back to back. And at midnight, people were still trying to get on them. It's like, sorry, we're rolling out,
Yeah.
But that fireworks show was second to none. It was a grand finale for an hour solid and like almost chaos.
Yeah, it brought me back to my childhood when we used to do bottle rocket wars and Roman candle wars and shit, and my stepson got hit and some falling mortar. I grabbed him and run for cover. It was pretty. Yeah, I liked it. I mean, I was a little it was one of those things like you start to get concerned, but you're like nothing hurt, nothing's crazy. It was a little close, but I'm like, okay, it's cool. Yeah. I know, fuck, I've had fun, dude. Yeah, man, little man. Fuck, dude.
Absolutely.
yeah. Well, yeah, you guys did some tattooing together for a while. What was some crazy things that you've come across in tattooing, like places, like parts on people's body that you tattooed, or just crazy stories about while you were tattooing or whatever?
Yeah, I've seen some interesting things.
Yeah, I've always kind of went, if I was going below the belt, it had to be on a female. I just couldn't cross that boundary. I know there's other people that's done some crazy shit. Yeah.
Hey, $100 for you gotta hold it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Oh man.
Yeah.
I've tattooed
I can't concept the idea of
I've
that.
tattooed about every part of the human body, and but there's a lot of pain in the ass spots, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. Feet.
Yeah.
You know. Feet.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I've done the bottom of the foot before. I've done a nutsack. I've done kinds of crazy things, man. Nothing surprises me these days. The one thing I haven't tattooed was a butthole.
Yeah,
I have to say, I know.
I've done one, and hopefully it's the last one I ever have to do.
Yeah, I've tattooed some crazy shit, man.
I don't pick them, I just stick them. Right?
That's right.
Absolutely.
You did hog rock and stuff, man. So, man, what was it like out there? You just drove that bus out there and just tattoo all night long, huh? Was it one of those things?
So I got sick of doing it.
Yeah.
But it's a 3-day deal. Well, it was a 3-day deal back then, and sometimes 4-day, because a lot of times I'd get there and set up early, and then some of the vendors want a little ink, so I'd take care of them, and some of the people that worked there, security and stuff like that, swing a little ink on them, and then the general public start rolling in about Thursday, and usually
popping from that point, huh?
Yeah, about Sunday morning I was like, I'm out of here, you know.
Hell yeah. Had your
But
fill.
I can't do that 13, 14 hour tattooing anymore in one day. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just
It's hard.
can't do it no more. My back won't let me, for one thing. If you get into tattooing and you don't have a bad back, you will.
Yeah, right. Shit.
You know.
What was your machine that you used to use? Like I don't know, your first one, or would you use? You started using coil machines, and you've been using those for a long, long time.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you ever done the rotaries before?
Well, I tried one once. Old buddy Larry turned me on to one, and I didn't care for it, you know. And then I tried another one later, and it kept shutting off my power supply. And I'm like, well, I just stay loyal to the coil, you know. And then another buddy of mine here, a couple of years ago, told me about a little cheap ass machine, you know. And I'm like, yeah, well, what the hell, you know. He said he loved it, you know. A little bit. It was a knockoff, Chinese knockoff from a Bishop, and so $50, you know.
Yeah.
And
Worth a try.
Yeah.
I was, no, what's gonna hurt $50, you know?
Absolutely.
And I didn't like it for lining. My opinion, it kind of, well, because I wasn't used to it. I was used to my little old coil machine that my fallback, you know, all it used. Anyway, but it was for the whip shading, you know, the gray wash. Oh yeah, I was liking that, you know.
Yeah.
I have, you know, get a lot of junk tips for them. I mean, you know, some of them are really good, but you never know when one's going to fall apart. No matter who's made it, you know what I mean? Because I've had a lot of that happening.
Absolutely.
You know, be in the middle of a tat and grab another one.
Right.
But you know, you know, as far as the black and gray, you know, everybody says they don't hurt as much. I think it's because they don't make as much noise, but
Right.
I
think it definitely does help.
I have noticed that it seems to me like some of them heal a little better with the rotaries.
Yep.
I don't know.
I mean, I used to do a lot of overworking with the coil machine, just because that's all I've used for years and years. I've been doing it for 25 years, and just for the last 5 years, I've been tattooing with rotary machines, you know, and those coil ones, man. If you don't know what you're doing at first, setting them up, you know, it will definitely it's a bad learning curve, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, but
Takes some getting used to. It's totally different. I mean, it's not totally different, but it's almost like reverting back to the beginning kind of deal, you know.
Yeah, I think you add on an extra 5 or so more years to your hands. You know, now you use rotary machines. It's a lot easier on the old mitts.
Yeah, it's a lot easier on the wrist. That's for sure.
That's for sure. I got carpal tunnel, man. That coil machine used to beat the hell out of my fucking hands. That's crazy. But so you, if I'm not mistaken, you're a president of a biker club, right?
Me? No. I'm president of an A-Bait chapter.
Okay, so you guys do like charity work and things like that. Like, what was it that?
Well, we used to, and then some.
Describe what that is to me, or to the people. What that is.
It's a more or less trying to educate people about you know watching out for motorcycles and stuff like that. New people that's getting into the motorcycles, trying to teach them, trying to help them be safe. You know what I mean? And fighting stupid laws, like the helmet law, and other laws like that. You know. Plus, I don't know what year it was, but A-Bait kind of took 4-wheelers and side-by-side. Well, they didn't have side-by-sides then, it was all 4-wheelers. But kind of took them under the wing too, because the state was trying to legislate them out of business too, basically. You know, trying to keep people from having 4-wheeler parks and stuff like that. So we've been fighting for their rights too, you know, and that's why the little boogie's all about.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And we've got people that are basically like lobbyists, you know, and pay for that and all that good stuff, you know. But it's mainly education, to try to educate the public on safety. Like, there are motorcycles out there, and
stop cutting your grass.
They don't have bumpers
on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. That shit pisses me off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm back in the Mad Dog again. Finally,
Yeah.
they finally taught me into it again. So, but yeah,
How's all that going?
pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's always good.
I can't wait till warm weather gets here again.
Yeah. No kidding.
That ain't no shit. I'm done with this cold shit.
Oh really? Yeah. I popped a tendon in my arm this year, so I had to go back to heel and toe shifter because I can't squeeze that clutch anymore. I mean, I could, but not very long.
Yeah.
So I just went back to heel and toe. You know, I'm used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Old school.
All right.
Yeah.
That's badass.
Yeah.
It works just fine. Don't have to buy clutch cable either. They don't.
Right. Ain't no shit.
What year is your panhead?
It's a 55.
55. That's sick.
Yeah, that ain't no shit. That is not.
It's a year younger than I am.
That's cool, man. Little Boogie I I moved to Salem 5 years ago, and I've been going every year since I started. I hate to. It's shutting down now, right?
No.
Oh, good deal. Good.
No.
Good deal.
There was a little slight misunderstanding, and it got worked out real quick, and so it's on.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll have a better one this year than we did last year. Yeah, last year was great.
Yeah, it seems like every year it gets better and better.
Yeah,
you know?
it's.
But I'm
So
going
much
to try
fun.
to fix up a off-road wrecker because backing a tractor up with hooked onto the front, that's hard on your neck.
Yeah.
Not near as much fun either.
No shit.
But somebody had to do it, so I got stuck doing it. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
People break down out there.
Yeah.
Seems like every year somebody breaks something.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You know? But nobody got hurt this year. That's a good thing.
It's always a plus.
And yeah, anytime nobody gets hurt, it's always a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
What's going on now? How long has Little Boogie been around?
20.
Holy shit.
It's been a while.
Wow.
25 years, I believe.
Wow.
I remember going there as a teenager and it was chaos. There was tons of people and it was just a good time. I really never even made it out in the woods because I didn't have a wheeler back then. I just came for the party.
Yeah.
Just the party itself was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, used to be better than what it is now, but it was about to go under there for a couple, 3 or 4 years. There just wasn't that many people showing up, and it started out as a bike and motorcycle party, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it morphed into motorcycle and 4-wheelers, and then it got to where nobody even bothered with motorcycles anymore.
Yeah.
It was all about going out in the woods and getting muddy,
Yeah.
And so we just give up on having poker runs
Yeah.
for that weekend anyway.
Yeah.
We still got Murphy's party coming up in July,
Oh, yeah.
and that's usually a good one, but it's not out there at the same spot where we
Yeah.
had the boogie. It's over at Murphy's house.
Mm.
That's kind of a memorial party.
Yeah.
Been going on for 20-some years too, and
So who's in memory of?
Jim Murphy.
Jim Murphy.
Everybody called him Murphy or Taco.
It's funny. I used to know back in the day of Jim Murphy. I'm not from here, but they used to call him Smurf.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah.
He's from down around Central. Well, he's from up north around Lincoln, but he lived for 30-some years down there at Centralia. He's in motorcycles, pretty hot and heavy, and he's a brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Awesome.
Did he make it to the top of the club before he left?
I think so.
Yeah.
Before he passed,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good, solid man.
Cancer got him, like it does a lot of people.
Oh yeah. That ain't no shit.
Agent Orange and everything else got him.
Wow.
You know.
Isn't that where you get the like the bruising, like blood, like brown, like
Oh, there's
on the leg, and
like,
it's like
8 or 10 different things
okay.
that
I
you
met a
know.
guy once that had Agent Orange, and his shit was
Yeah.
all it looked like a huge bruise or something.
Yeah.
Crazy.
A lot of old school military, they all got.
Leave it to the Dow Chemical Company and whoever else it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's some of the strangest requests that you've gotten from like tattooing or anything?
The strangers.
Yeah, like I don't know, you getting
A box of Kraft macaroni and cheese.
nice. Hey man, I'm fucking.
That was you know, he come in, I never seen him before, and I'm like, okay, you know, so, and I ain't seen him since. Don't know really where he went or what, you know.
Yeah.
He just passing through, I reckon. So, but box of Kraft macaroni and cheese, that was probably definitely one of the most unusual.
Yeah. What about you, man? I know you got a picture on your leg of a giant dick or something on there, don't you?
Yeah. I like them little small stupid tattoos.
Yeah.
That's offensive, and people are gonna gasp over like, yeah, I want that one.
Yeah.
So I like all that little silly shit, you know.
Yeah.
I've given some people some funny ones, and I've taken some funny ones. We used to do hat drawings back in the day, so we're all alcoholics,
Yeah.
you know, or were. So
Right,
most of us, and we just at the beginning of our night we'd come up with a couple stupid ideas, and we'd just write them down on little pieces of paper, throw them in the hat, you know. And at the end of the night, we'd party all night.
no.
We'd fucking get them out, and then we'd have, you know, be able to take one modification or whatever, and you can interpret however you want it, but you had to do it within 30 days or you get punched in the nuts, you know.
Oh shit.
So there's a handful of us that got a whole bunch of bad decisions over that summer.
That's fucking hilarious, dude. I've never heard nothing like that. They do that. That's a little scary.
Yeah, that's back when getting a tattoo was enjoyable.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
It's like
that's fun
anymore, it's
thing.
like, man, that shit hurts.
Oh,
That's
man.
what we do to people?
Yeah, right.
Shit, people pay us to do that to them. Idiots.
Yeah, that's what the last one I got. I'm like, I forgot it hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got numbing cream out now.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Have you ever used any of that stuff?
Yeah, I've noticed it takes, you gotta put it on there right or it don't work. And a lot of people, they'll put it on themselves and then show up and then they didn't do it right. They didn't clean the skin, exfoliate or whatever you want to call that. And
Skin.
scrub it
Open the
and heat
pores.
it up and then put the stuff on there and it works a little bit, but it don't last long. You know,
Yeah.
take your time, do it right, and it'll last a lot longer. But that's where back pain comes in.
Oh, yeah. Vaccine is a nice little backup.
Yep,
You know,
it
it's a
helps.
nice little soothing bath for it every 20, 30 minutes.
Everyone
you know?
loves it. They're like, "Can you spray some of that stuff on again?" I'm like, "Okay." Like, look, it's
Just,
like, wipe it, spray it. It's like they want me to do it every single time. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
damn.
Well, I know if we've had some clients in here that we've done it properly for them, you know, in an hour in advance, and man, we've had some people sit for 6 hours plus, and I'm like, oh shit, didn't feel anything.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
My big buddy Tyson, he was a firm believer of, nah, hell with that pussy stuff, you know.
Right.
After he used it and he went 6 hours without feeling it, he's like, man, I'll never get a tattoo without it.
I've got,
And
yeah,
it's
you
like,
have,
well,
no, I don't need that stuff. And then they find out it works and they're like,
They'll say all the time. They'll be like, "Oh, I love it, dude," because it's funny when customers will say it to me. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm not a pussy." And I'm just like, "I'm not a pussy either. I can fight." You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm not. I don't say this to them obviously, but I just like, well, what happens if you can fight though? You know what I'm saying? Because I use it. You know what I'm saying? Because
I've never even used it yet. Well, I haven't had a tattoo since we started carrying it. I guess is
Right.
the reason I haven't used it. But
I mean, for me, because my experience, I lose a little bit on my back. You know what I'm saying, in certain areas, but you know, you end up still feeling it for the most part. It ends up, you know, soaking through, and sometimes you end up only get maybe a half hour, 45 minutes if you're lucky. You know, pain free for me at least. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, because I don't use a lot of it, but you know, I've been getting tattooed my whole life. I mean, just for a long time. Like I don't like people say, oh, it takes the fun or it takes, you know, the experience away from getting tattooed. I'm like, Well, when you go get your tooth pulled, bro, don't use anesthetic. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the whole process. You know what I'm saying? You get your leg cut off, man. Don't use nothing to numb it. You know, but you know, I'm a firm believer. I mean, if a little bit helps. You know what I'm saying? I like to tell my clients to, you know, for the most part, just kind of go with the outline for a little bit. Try and get the outline done. Put it on, let it soak in there for a little bit, and then come in. It's like to the point where they can't sit still and they're going through some shit. Slap some on the rest of it, and then and then let it soak in, do your thing, and then that way you can at least get through the tattoo.
Right.
You know, because I always find myself wanting to rush through something when I see a client going through the shit. It's like, all right, get this person over with, because you know they're in pain, and I know what it's like. You know, shit.
And when they start squirming it, it's time to figure out something.
Yeah. Gotta make it easier on you and your client. You know,
I can't take it anymore.
Yeah, I've been asked all the time, you know.
I tell them I don't feel a thing.
Right. I feel for you, but I'm not feeling nothing. Cool. No, I've been asked a lot, man. People, if you ever had anybody, you know, back out of a tattoo, like start one and just be like, oh, no, you know. And I've never had nobody. I've had somebody, you know, want to do that, but then they get to get the outline done, and then, you know, at that point, have you?
Oh, yeah. A couple of different people actually start crying in the process and just can't take it and say they're going to come back and then just never see them again. They got a partial tattoo done, you know.
Yeah.
Some of them, or most of them, I think there's only 2 out there that I haven't ever seen again, but I've fixed most of them and finished them, you know, different date, but it happens. You know, It definitely happens.
I've never had nobody actually quit on me in a half tattoo like that, but I know as soon as I started, man, like that one kid that I tattoo now, his first tattoo on his chest, I was just like, it was his first one, and his dad got the same one, blah, 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 you know, down the line. And this dude, he could not sit still. I felt so bad for him, you know, and I was just like, you know, but then the rest of it, he's pretty good now. But when his dad sat down and got his shit done, he'd already had a bunch of tattoos, and he sat like a champ, you know, and I kind of, when he comes in, we kind of like laugh about that, you know, like, hey, you picked a pretty good spot for your first one, bro. You know, like, well, you could have went somewhere else, you know. I'm pretty sure it was on the side. That's where it was at, right here on the side.
Oh, boy. Yeah. And that's the breathing, that don't help much, you know, and the squirming. And
you ever had anybody pass out on you?
Huh?
Have anybody pass out on you?
I've had more guys pass out on me than women.
You know? Yeah. Women can take that shit. They call it tattoo therapy. Most women that come in here they say they use it for therapy. I can just imagine they're the one that crashing out the most, you know, in the bars and stuff. They're like, you know what I'm saying? Those are the ones that call it therapy. Those wild ones.
Women are beasts.
They are, dude. Yeah.
They have
one young one.
For goodness sake, you know.
I had one young girl. She's like just turned 18, and she wanted a tattoo, a little bitty thing, you know, like that. And she started crying while I was putting the machine together. You know?
Oh goodness!
I'm like, this ain't gonna turn out real well, and it didn't.
As good as projected.
Yeah. So how did you guys? What was like? How did you back in the day in the 70s or 80s, whatever you did tattooing? How did you put the stencil on? What would you use for your stencil application?
Pencil, a hectograph pencil. Draw it on there with a pencil.
On your skin or on
or acetate with the blue powder, you know.
Oh,
which
wow.
totally sucked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, making stencil with that shit. I'm like, no, I ain't doing that. I'll draw it on there first, but you know.
Yeah.
I used to use a paper made pen and would draw on a picture backwards.
Yeah.
And then have to put it on there with a speed stick.
Yeah.
And then you got to hurry. You had to make sure you get all the lines real quickly.
Oh, one chance.
One fucking chance, and that was it. There was no room for anything.
Then I found out about the Thermofax paper that every grade school in the United States had for years and years and years. I'm like, well, that makes a lot more sense. I'll just put my stencil and put my design on there and on the clipboard and draw over with a big pen, you know, and then there it is, you know. That saved a lot of work.
Yeah.
And then I got fortunate enough to get my hands on a 3M machine. You know,
nice.
Thermofax,
Game changer.
Yeah, I got 3 of them.
Nice. Those are pretty much at this point like back when I was working at Flesh Tones in Wood River in like 05 to 07. We had the same one, right? The same kind, and my boss at the time told me, he said those things are pretty much obsolete if it weren't for tattoo shops, you know. And yeah, I remember when I first started here at 618 over across the street. Not the first 618, but the second one. And I remember doing a little video of the fucking thermal machine. It was like, I said, I love you, like that, you know. And I love those things. It's a godsend.
One of them dot matrix printers, and they work with the Thermofax paper.
Yeah.
And they work pretty good, you know. But it was like, you know, not grayscale, what's that other one? Halftone.
Yeah.
Basically is what it was when you got done with it, but they didn't work all that great, you know, and they were slow about making, because it's like go smoke cigarettes, have a beer, come back in, and there it is, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were slow, and regular printers work pretty good. Those laser jet printers, you know, the old brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That they make real good stencil.
Oh yeah.
You know, I want one of them eco tanks with the hectograph ink. I've heard they're iffy. I want to try one.
Well,
you know,
we went through 2 or 3 of them here. I got one over there that's full of fucking ink and useless. The head clog's super easy, so
yeah,
you get about a year out of them and they go to shit.
Yeah,
the head clogs on them quick, and even after a good cleaning, it's still just wasting ink.
now that you said that, we've got one. We bought it because the hype, you know, and it was in the house, right? Well, we had it maybe a month, and the color quit printing. You know, it'll only print black.
Yeah.
I got to tear into that sucker, blow it out, or whatever the hell you got to do to fix it. But it is what it is. You know, I don't remember who, Pinky, I think it was, telling me that he had one, and I'd seen some of the stuff he'd done after he got that. It definitely improved his work.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot. No offense, but it did help him get better at what he was doing. So, you know, I'd like to try one just shits and giggles. But
well, I can give you a line on, they make super easy cheap ones now that basically are souped up dot matrix conversion with one of them printers. So I mean, you can take a picture of you and print it out in a perfect stencil gradient,
right,
you know, and it applies pretty damn well. Hell, you can get them on Amazon for $75 to $100.
Really?
It's super ridiculously cheap.
Huh.
I see a lot of people using them. I haven't
I
used
got
them
one
yet,
up
but I
front
like
that
to
we just bought to try, and it works great. I mean, we've done portraits and lions and everything. Just
a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Now, you quit learning anything new, you might as well quit.
That is true.
Yeah, I learn new shit every year, you know, and I'm always open to learn something new.
Yeah.
I don't care what, you know.
It's a little tough, man. The transition from coil machines to a rotary for me, even though I started basically on a rotary machine, like building my own homemade one.
Right.
I just, you know, you're right. The whole lining process was way better. Even Bolin here, he was using his liner for, you know, with a coil machine because it just hit way better. And then the rest of it was just soft shading and it just went better. But through time, you know, I learned to adjust to it, you know.
Yeah.
But it is definitely, you know,
it's different.
It's definitely different, you know.
Lining.
So what are some of the things that you've noticed in the past about your tattooing that's different? Like as far as like the ink wise, the quality wise, you know.
Ink's got way better.
Remember Spalding and Rogers?
That's where everybody started.
Yeah, that's it. I know. That's what I was. Yeah, that's why I said that. Yeah.
That and Pelican, you know. That's. But yeah. Oh wow, the pigments have got so much better through the years. I mean, it seems like every 2 or 3 years, somebody's coming out with some new ink that, you know, fucking rock.
Way more vibrant and
than ever
lasting.
before.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, it's amazing, and Well, like the needles. I mean, I started out making my own,
Needle
and made
jigs
them
and
for
stuff,
years.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Showed you a few tricks
Yeah.
there on that shit, and
For sure.
and then they, just the groupings and everything changed, like the round mags, bug pins.
Yeah.
I love them.
Man.
I love them.
Black and gray all day.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I black and gray my forte there.
That's what I was gonna ask too. It's pretty much mine too. I really just like black and gray.
Purist.
I love me some color.
Oh yeah, you're a
Color
man.
thing out in
You've done some things, man, that that I literally would have. I got balls. Don't get me wrong. I've been doing this shit for 25. I got balls to do a lot of things, and there's some things that I look at. I would have been like, I would have never done that, but you make it work, and he's tried to show me things. You know what I'm saying? And I tried his tattooing style. He's slow and low. He's fucking. He's real easy with his stuff. He's real whatever he does. And every time I do it, it just doesn't work for me. I understand that when you first start things, it's not going to work out for you. So I keep throwing things in the back of my mind, like, okay, I do it like this. Man, I could never get it to fully, like, he likes to sculpt his lines. And back in the day, I used to sculpt my lines back in the day. But now if I do that shit, my line there's no chance. I have to try to do it one good, solid, pass, or I go back and I kind of go back in, a little bit. But, I just, you do a lot of things that is ballsy.
It's all from trial and error, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you'll develop your own style, and you figure out what works for you, and what works on one person might not work on another one because our skin is different.
Yeah.
But
I have slowed down a lot though. See, that's what I did. I've been about halfway, about a middle, where I was running this fast and he's going this slow, and I was able to get as slow. I'm down into the 7s and 8s volts range. You know what I'm saying? As far and I was up at like 10. You know what I mean?
Right.
And probably more.
Right.
But so yeah. So I mean, but you can take little techniques from little things like that. It may not always work out, but you can fine tune kind of things.
Oh yeah. I mean, it depends on what you're doing too. I mean, you get in that fine detail work, you can crank her down to about 6.5 volts. And some of that gray wash, you get it down to about 4.5. Depends on how big of an area you want to work on, and how your needle grouping and shit like that plays a big part.
So many variables to get that perfect job.
Oh yeah.
You do it enough, and kind of what works for you. You can
like
get there a lot easier every time.
Yeah, and what works on this person you might have to adjust. For this next one, because their skin's a little different, more grainy or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, people are different. Every different parts of the body is different, that.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
That's what's so tricky about learning tattoos is you might get it right on one, you get it wrong on the next, and it's just then you have to
Paper
start.
don't move much.
Right. Yeah. Did you ever? So your coil machine that you used to have back, like one of your first one or first couple ones, were they of a certain name brand that was mostly popular? Did you build your own machine? Like, did you get parts of other things? Like, what was the type of machine?
My first, I call it store-bought machine. I bought it off Terry Denton. It was a Spalding and Rogers Supreme. That was my first store-bought. I've made a couple before that coil, but that was the first straight-on store-bought Spalding and Rogers, And then I got a couple of Pumas, and I can't remember who else. It just started.
This is a bunch of them after that.
It just blew up after that. I got a guy down here in Southern Illinois that built me this machine. He builds them sells them through Kingpin, and he built me one that's kind of a one-off. And you know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I've had that sucker for a long time, and it's my favorite liner.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I can make it. It's got custom coils on it that he made just for me, and it's I can make it do whatever I want it to do. If I want to shade with it, all I can do is just make a few adjustments, and I can turn it down to like 4.5 volts and it'll still run. Or I can crank her up to like 10 volts and it'll hammer it out, you know. It's probably the best, and it was the cheapest machine. I only give him $100 for it.
Things made you $1 million probably.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it's made me a lot of money.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You know, and it's still like Timex, man. It keeps licking, you know.
Yeah.
Keeps on ticking,
Yeah,
you know.
that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How did you get your designs? Like how? So like I used to get them from my sister's boyfriend at the time back in the day. His dad was a tattoo artist, and he'd steal fucking little sheets of flash for me, you know. And
yeah,
I made so much money from that. How did you get your flash, or how'd you
trading?
Trade? Okay.
You know, I just draw and shit, you know, and then somebody else would be doing the same thing, and hey man, trade you some artwork and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, but biker shit mostly to start with. You know what I mean?
Dragons and wizards and
demons, wizards, and shit like that.
Yeah.
Evil, wicked, mean, and nasty.
Yeah,
you know
right.
what I mean?
That's right.
What a little bit of that flowery, girly stuff in there once in a while, but mostly is evil, wicked, mean, and nasty.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah. And that's what I loved about that whole tattooing scene, man. Is the biker, you know, the big, mean, nasty biker clubs doing the baddest shit, you know, and tattooing people. That's what turned me on to the whole idea of it, you know.
Yeah.
Bikers and, you know,
And chicks.
chicks. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Bikes and chicks.
That's
man.
right.
Yeah.
And now look what it's became, you know.
Yeah, it's a career. It's insane. I was not expecting necessarily I mean, I know things can go however you want, but was I sitting here expecting to work at one of the best shops around, the only best shop that's around, you know what I mean? 618 Inc. and yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's getting tattoos nowadays. I mean,
Oh yeah.
we work on 3/4 of the public. Doesn't matter what your job is. You know, it's starting to get a little more lax. Jobs are starting to let people get inked up, and now even the cops can get full sleeves. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's just
To a lot of cops, you know, I've tattooed quite a few cops. I've seen a lot of cops come in this place, you know, and get tattooed, which is really cool because I remember like back in the day as a kid in school, we were little terrors, you know, and I went to an alternative school that was for bad kids, you know, and we were good until shit wasn't good, and then we started having a cop up in there. We ran into a couple cops because we were always trying them, and of course we never win, but we was always trying them, you know. And this one dude came in, he was bald headed, named Frank Bennett, and he had tattoos on his leg, and he was a cop. He played guitar, he played Pantera, he liked Pantera and stuff like that, you know. And I remember that. He was real cool. At first I couldn't even believe the kid told me, yeah, that new cop listens. I said, yeah, right. Cops don't listen to that kind of music. You know what I'm saying? And come to find out he did, and we became really cool. And he's had to arrest me before. I pushed every cop to see what they would be willing to do. And he has. Yeah. I wasn't scared to figure out what I can do. You know, but yeah, I knew though it's kind of crazy now that we're tattooing cops and people that, you know, and my favorite people, the veterans, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Vets?
Yeah. Veterans.
Oh yeah. I always give a vet a discount.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Always.
Right in front of my stepson, you know, I've always said, thank you for your service. You know what I'm saying? I tell him a lot of times, he goes, how do you know that? I said, well, look at their hat. You know what I mean? It'll say something on it. It'll let you know. So I was like, you always thank your veterans, man. Always thank them.
I always check out ink if it's visible. If I see any kind of gold insignia, they got it for a reason.
From that old ink.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sets them off sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm so intrigued by old ink, man. I met this guy one time. He had a tattoo in the 40s or something. He said, he showed me, you know, and I was like, holy cow! He couldn't even. And the thing is completely deaf, couldn't hear me. So he was telling me cool stories about how he's seen his wife as a spirit. Like she just passed away, and he woke up, but I couldn't ask him no questions because he couldn't hear me or nothing. Which really sucked because I had so much I wanted to talk about. He straight up told me, he goes, I woke up one night and I look up and there she is standing right there, you know, and this dude's like super old, you know, and I'm like, holy cow. I couldn't even talk to him, man. I was trying to ask him questions and he's just like, looking, I was like, I don't know sign language. But yeah, he had really cool, you know, you believe in ghosts, don't you? Do you believe in ghosts or anything like that?
What's that?
You believe in ghosts or anything, or?
Do I believe in ghosts?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah? Got some crazy shit.
I believe in a lot of shit, man. You never know what's going on in this world, you know.
I heard that.
I believe in magic, you know. It don't exist so much nowadays as it did, 1,500 years ago or whatever.
I definitely believe in.
That's been
crazy
pulled
stuff.
out of us, you know.
Oh yeah,
Teaching all that stuff.
oh yeah. We've been dumbed down, man,
Absolutely.
through the years,
Yeah.
on purpose, in my opinion.
Well, think about it, man. I mean, if we found out stuff that they're trying to hide from us, it could elevate us to a better level, and we're not. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. If you were the person controlling your cattle, you know what I'm saying? Like, that would make perfect sense. Like, so it's like, now we're starting to be hip to that kind of thing,
Yeah, deep dark hole.
They want mushrooms. They want to keep you in the dark, feed you shit.
Yeah.
No shit.
But yeah, I'm not much of an establishment kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, right.
it shows usually.
Yeah, I've been a rebel my whole life, man.
Yep.
Working against the man, not for the man.
I've been trying to tightrope it. You know.
Oh yeah, you got to
both sides
nowadays.
as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to legitimize yourself, you definitely do. That's for sure. I've always, you're definitely taking it to a whole new level.
Well,
Now you're the OG of this town, and now he's gonna be the next OG in this town.
Yeah.
Like for real. Because when I first started moving, even to Centralia, when I worked at the Samurai for Jimmy Ryan, I don't know if you know him or not, but he.
No, not really.
Okay.
Man.
Okay.
I know who you're talking about. But
Okay, you know who I. Okay.
yeah.
He. I worked out there, and that's all I ever heard was Matt, Lonnie, and Coke, and then you and Dale Burton. Those are and then I get here, and I still have clients, even young clients. There's, they're like fairly in their 20s, like mid 20s or so, saying they're talking about you and stuff like that, and I get asked all the time if I know who you are, and obviously I don't, but it's like I've heard a lot about you though, which is cool, the OG man. I respect that,
I hear you ain't dead yet.
You ain't dead.
Are you still dead? Oh, yeah. Sorta.
Shit, man. You haven't given up tattooing though yet? I mean, you're still tattooing, right?
I can still slang it. I'm going to slang it.
Damn right.
absolutely.
Like, there's, I never had like lettering. I like that West Coast style, the flair to it. I like doing that, but square lettering, it's like,
Yeah.
I don't like it. I do a lot of it, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's no fun.
Right.
There's no artistic license there. You gotta you stay in the box. I've never been real good at staying in the box.
Right.
They've been trying to put me in boxes for years. Or cages, one or the other. But
No, baby in the corners.
Right.
Sling, especially if they give me a little leeway on creativity, that's I've been creative all my life, and that's kind of basically what got me into tattooing, because it was another form of art. In my eyes back then, it wasn't. According to the public, it was, not art.
Right.
I thought it was,
Yeah.
and that's why it was another form. I mean, I've tried pastels, oils, acrylics through the years, pen and ink, charcoal. I've done a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and that's another form of ink, pen and ink, a pen and ink.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, that's for me. And, I get to hurt people and they pay me for it.
Yeah. I know, isn't that fun?
I'm not totally sadistic, just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy the fact they get paid.
Yeah, I like paid. But to me, it's not all about the money. It never has been all about. I'll never be rich.
Yeah, but see, you're an OG. Like you've probably seen. I don't know how long you've been tattooing.
72.
Well,
Okay,
35 years.
So you've seen three generations of people, right? So you've seen your people's kids.
Oh yeah.
Type shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen 2 generations so far, which is crazy because now I'm seeing the people. These are a couple of guys I tattooed now, or one dude I tattooed now. I was seeing him in his dad's house back in the day when I was tattooing him, and he was running on his little underwear, little tighty whities. You know what I'm saying? Now he's in the army, and he was in the army and stuff, and he's he's a cool ass dude, but But yeah, that's crazy. That's what I love about the whole tattooing, man. Is
oh, you tattooed my grandma. And I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Your grandma was wild, kid.
Yeah. Right. Oh shit. You knew you could tell the wild chicks back from my day when they listened to Def Leppard. You could tell those chicks were wild, boy.
It's been a wild, long, strange trip. Whatever you want to say. It's been a good life, though, in my opinion. I've done shit a lot of people just talk about,
Yeah.
And
I wouldn't change it for the world.
no. Oh no! I'd have to do it all over again.
Yeah, right.
And you get to meet all kinds of people too.
That's my favorite.
I'm not a super people person or anything like that,
same.
but it's been kind of cool meeting a wide variety of people. Tattooed lawyers, doctors, nurses, and a judge. I ain't gonna name names, but and down the ladder.
Yeah.
I tattooed people from all over this country.
That's awesome.
Been interesting.
Yeah.
Has met a lot of people, a lot of weird people, a lot of cool people, a lot of people, scary people. There's some of them out there.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I've tattooed and been doing a lot of shit too, man. It's really this whole taboo that started out, that it was such taboo, I mean, not very many people are doing it, and they sure in the hell wasn't just going to give out no information to nobody. And you had to put your blood, sweat, and tears to even entertain the thought of bringing somebody in, and everybody, every shop is like competitive with each other, and and I wonder how hard was it for you to start off tattooing? Was it like, I mean, did you start off in was you like back in the day before you went?
I'd done most of my early tattooing in prison.
Okay.
Like a lot of people. But it was mostly just bikers and a few hippies here and there, you know what I mean, back in the day, and that's about all it was. But a lot of people don't realize just how many people way back had tattoos, that you just didn't even know about, like, what was it, George Shultz, he was like Secretary of State for Nixon or some shit like that. Had a tiger on his butt or something. I don't remember exactly, but there's a lot of people that were tatted up even. You just didn't know because they didn't show it. But there's people back in the day in the 50s and 60s walking around sleeved out and shit. You just didn't know because you didn't see it.
Yeah.
Because they had long sleeve shirts on all the time. Businessmen and stuff, even,
That's awesome. Yeah, was it hard for you to start making? Did you make money right off the gate? Was you just kind of like? Was it kind of hard with any competitive? There's no competitiveness.
I made enough money to have a good time.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you had to because a lot of artists shop that they try to like run you out. Like people were real particular back in the day with tattooing, with shops and stuff. So I didn't know if it was like some sort of territorial thing or just some.
Back in the day, there's people who wouldn't even. There's a guy out there on the West Coast, if he was tattooing you, he wouldn't even let you look at what he was doing.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't want you to know how he done it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And getting an apprenticeship was like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
Better have a pocket full of money.
Yeah.
And number one, you gotta prove that you can do artwork. Mm-hmm. You gotta prove you can draw, or get the hell out of my shop. One of them numbers. And get over there and grab that mop. A lot of work involved in learning back in the day, and not everybody wanted to mess with anybody, unless they got to like you.
Yeah.
And then it's like, come here, let's see what you can do.
Yeah, it's definitely changed now. Now people.
Now
people have.
I mean, hell, you can learn on Google now.
Yeah.
You can watch 100 videos and know how to do everything you need to.
Let's start off with your first tattoo you ever got. If you remember.
Me?
Yeah, you.
My first one was like a pitchfork right here. like a devil's pitchfork.
Is there a way you can show us, or no?
It's covered up.
Okay. All right.
Do you remember the year?
Yeah.
71, I think. 72, maybe.
Yeah.
70 something or other. Early.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think 71.
Stick and poke or homemade machine or?
Yeah, no, it's poke.
Oh, stick and poke. Okay.
Yeah.
One way or another, I'm getting one. Goddamn
That's super cool.
it. Yeah. So what was your most painful tattoo?
Well, you might want to edit this out.
Oh shit! Uh-oh. Yeah. Is it on there? Is it on the actual part of it? Or is it just right there on the on the actual
down the middle?
down the middle itself? All right. Look, that. Did you have to? You have to keep it up? Did you couldn't?
No.
Probably couldn't at that point.
No.
Yeah, you have to just wrap that motherfucker around something and pull on it. Like they'll tie a string to a little pole or back up to it.
I done it myself.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, I
trying
tattooed
to
right
tattoo a
above it.
squirrel.
I didn't tattoo the actual thing, that's for sure.
What is it? Is this a word?
Yeah, what is it? Yeah, what is it of?
Your name.
Your name. That is
Yes.
funny.
That is awesome.
I done it to piss off my ex.
I bet that joke come in handy so many
Oh,
times. in
yeah.
people's life.
I want a few drinks off of it.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
That is funny shit.
That one stung a little.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Who was you ever influenced by anybody?
Maybe one.
Was you ever influenced by anybody? Like was it like your favorite artist, or did you have a person?
Favorite artist is Edward Lee.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know him?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I used to do a lot of this. It's kind of like Paul Booth in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Spiderweb.
Yeah.
Spiderweb is
darker kind of
iconic.
stuff.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Gil Monty, he was, he was legendary. He is legendary. I don't think he's dead yet. He's getting up there though in the age.
Yeah.
But Edward Lee is one hell of an artist.
Yeah, he was. I had some of his flash back when I first started. Was one of
I
his.
still got some
Yeah.
quite
Wow,
a bit. Yeah.
I'd love to see
That's
that,
super
man.
cool.
Stuff, man.
Oh,
Spalding
yeah.
and Rogers, like Edward Lee, Paul Booth, David Bolt. There's a bunch of them, man. They're just,
Yeah.
were just
And
godsends
more and
because
more.
it just brought me money. Everybody's like, I want that butterfly, and I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Third time this week.
Yes, man. Yes, and it can just get more expensive, more expensive. Cool. All right. Well, I guess we're done with this one then.
You hit me out with something?
What? Oh yeah. Done. Okay, yeah. So tell us one of your. Tell me one of your first tattoos. Who was it by, and what was one of your first ones?
My first piece was a small piece in the middle of my back from old Charlie Huggins. He's actually the one I bought all my equipment from to get started years later. So, I mean, it was kind of a full circle effect on that one. But it was just a little tribal moon, dirty piece of shit in the middle of my back, But that was the first one I got, and it just spiraled from there.
Yeah. What was your most painful one?
Well,
You got one on your side of your head.
I didn't touch the cakes with my fingers.
Really?
Whenever I done the invisible black light hand, I took it all the way to my cuticles, and man, oh man, I was pounding that in down there.
You did it.
I done it twice, because that black light shit don't stick.
No, I don't.
So I
That's
done it
hardcore,
twice, and
man.
you still can't see it. So I done it for nothing. But it was probably by far the worst. I've done my kneecaps and all that shit, and they didn't hold a cake to that.
No.
Wow.
That, you get down there, that's...
Yeah, I was just rounding them ends of the bones right by the nail bed, and
Oh
man,
goodness.
I just have to put it on the table and run it as hard as I could. And
Ugh.
eat it in, like shit, man.
Yeah, I did.
And work myself up to do the next one.
Oh,
you know? But yeah, it worked out.
For a short time, about a couple years maybe,
For a
right?
couple of years, it looked awesome,
Yeah.
and now you just can't even see it.
Yeah.
Like I never even
Gone.
did it.
I had it on my head here too, and it was cool for like a couple, 2-3 years, and then one day I go in there and you look at it, and you just can't see it no more.
Yeah.
Like, well, it was fun while it lasted, but
I get people ask about it all the time.
Yeah,
It's like,
me too.
I mean, I'd rather not waste your time, my time,
right, yeah,
You're gonna pay me a bunch of money for something that's gonna look cool for a year or two, and then you're gonna want me to retouch it and fix it later,
Mm-hmm.
So what was one of your? I'm sure you're not gonna want to tell me one of your other cool tattoos, but what's one of your coolest tattoos? One of the coolest ones you like the most? Which I'm pretty sure I might know, but
well, I mean, I got a bunch of ones that mean something to me, you know. I mean, the best art-wise one, I mean, I had Roman Abrego do one, which, you know, whatever.
yeah.
But I'd say the granny piece is probably my most solid one. You know, Cole Armstrong, he's a monster of a beast,
Yes,
you know.
sir. He's one of your guys that
Yeah, actually apprenticed under me, and I mean, he surpassed me by far, and doing big, great things, and just got married and having kids, family, and all that shit. So that's awesome, man. It's awesome.
At this point, it's like your job's done, but your job's not done. But at that point, you've kind of like, that's what you consider done your work. You know, when you passed on to something and they went off, but obviously you're not going to stop at that point.
Oh, yeah.
But when they say, you know, if I could just help one person, then, you know, my job's over kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, like, you know,
For sure.
that you send somebody off to do some things like that and you can watch them, you know.
Whenever I do help people like that, it's never me that, you know, done it for them. They always do it for themselves. I just help them along the way to achieve the best of them, you know.
Give them the push.
Yeah, I mean, that's all we all need.
Yeah.
You know, we would all got there way faster if we would have had someone pushing us.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I try to do for all of us. You know, try to just make us get as good as we can.
Fuck yeah, brother. I love you for that.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. All right. I guess, that's all I'm going to do today.
Painless.
Yes, sir. All right.
Fuck yeah.
Stop the live. Appreciate
Awesome,
you guys
man.
for checking out the